Back here at Swipe Expo, you're obviously here with the Fresh Cred. We're being joined by our good friend, Kristi Novak. Can I say good friend?
We are good friends, Ed.
Nice, thank you. All right, I just needed the affirmation. Great day today. You know, the education sessions, they're still going on, but they're wrapping up. You were part of two panels this morning,
Yes.
so you've been doing a lot of work.
Yes.
One was on unpredictability, I believe.
Unpredictability, the black swan effect, crisis management, sort of unpredictable, you know, how you predict the unpredictable.
And then the other one was AI. In grocery.
Yeah, they grabbed me on that one last second, so no prep there, but we got it done.
But both very important, obviously.
Yes, absolutely.
Something that probably, as an organization, y'all think about all the time, right?
Oh, 100%.
Okay. Why is it important, for example, this show in this part of the country, for you in particular, to be here?
I think, you know, it's about working on existing relationships and then, you know, possibly finding, you know, other relationships, finding someone that'll feel a niche, or you're looking for a specific, you know, area that you need a little bit more support in your supply chain on. It's also about diversification of your supply chain, you know, looking for people that can help you. You know, if you have, you know, weather somewhere in California or whatever, you can shift to some of these great growers that are in Mexico that come up through Nogales and McAllen. I mean, we are literally right on top of McAllen. So it's advantageous for us to make these relationships and form these relationships. So yeah, it's really great. This is a good show. This is my second year coming, I think. Okay. And both time, this has been a great time too. The first time was kind of the first time that I had ever been here, and you know, it's been great, and I've met some really great people that I've connected with, and actually reconnecting with people today too that I met last year. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love Tucson. It'd been years.
It's gorgeous here. Yeah, it's gorgeous here.
Haven't been here for a number of years. I'd never been to this event, but only because it conflicted historically with some PTO, and then this year being in January. I mean, I love it to start the expo season, if you will. So I like the time of year as well.
Yeah, I remember we talked about last year, and you know, when I came last year for the first time, you're like, oh, I should have come with you. Yeah. So yeah, it was great. I'm glad you came this year.
Well, and you're from New Mexico, so
similar kind of
similar vibe here. Yeah. Not completely, but
no,
I don't think you have as many cactus. It's
no,
beautiful.
The houses and stuff, so Santa Fe. Santa Fe, yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Anything potentially or materially harder you feel to execute against from a business perspective? Anything that feels much harder this year than it did last year?
You know, you know, everything's changed. You know, the climate changes that we're experiencing, the freezes that are happening that have never happened before. You know, the inclement warm weather that we just went through in December. You know, and now we're having this cold weather. It's just those changes have been crazy, and then you know the political changes and all. You know, they're in there right now talking about the big T, the tariff, right? So I think that's, you know, it's great to make the connections now, but you know, we're all talking about the same things, and we're all thinking about the same things. So it's good to like get outside perspective and get other retailers' perspective and other suppliers' perspectives, you know, from a different area of the country. So it's cool. Yeah, I mean, I was on a panel with Wakefern, with Charlie's Produce, you know, lots of different areas, east, west, that, you know, it's good to get perspective.
Perspective, definitely important. What's taking more of your bandwidth, time, would you say, this year than it did? Maybe not just compared to last year, but historically. I guess it's probably worth mentioning what categories you manage for HEB.
Yeah, so right now I'm on the leafy veg desk, so wet rack, you know, all the leafy veg is what I'm doing. So the challenge is there, you know, we had a very rough transition. It looks like we have another one coming at us right now, just the rains and just in general, you know, as we shift, and we had a lot of shifts in vendors where vendors were buying vendors right at the end of the year, right? So it's a really kind of shifting and realigning our supply chain just a little bit. But we're always going to face challenges. It's just different every time. So it's just like knowing, you know, what you have to tackle first. So it's kind of block and tackle what's your A problem, your B problem, and your C problem, right? So you got to do with the A's. The C's might be able to wait, but always being able to just kind of reevaluate and know where you have to head first.
So speaking of problems, both of us living in Texas and familiar with the water challenges.
Yes.
As I visit with our grower shipper customers, particularly in Texas, and they mention how much less acreage they've planted, That's obviously a challenge for you, right? As y'all's business is growing,
Yes.
it would be ideal for them to be able to grow at the
To
same
grow
pace,
with us, yeah.
right? And then when there's a water constraint, for example, which is supposed to be being solved, I
Right.
guess, in the near future. I'm not sure if we received those water payments yet, but it should be resolved. It's not going to help
Right.
this year, but for next season from a leafy veg perspective. But what, I mean, aside from the obvious, which is supply,
Yeah.
I'm sure you have to diversify a little bit more, right?
No, we do. And, I spent 3 days down in McAllen at the beginning of December meeting with some of our key shippers. And it was a big conversation, where are we going to get our water? How are we going to get our water? But then that same conversation is happening in California as well, right? They're watching the water go right past them and going into the big cities, right? So I think that, the climate right now is not helping us at all. And I think that, there's got to be something that when we look at it globally, we have to feed the people of America and we have to feed the people of the world, right? So there needs to be some agreements that, water's off limits. We're going to figure that one out and not make it part of a negotiation for some other reason, right? Because it feels like that's what it is, right?
Yeah, leverage.
Well, it's leverage, yeah. But the things that are essential to make food for people shouldn't be leverage. I mean, we need to feed our people. We don't need to fight about water. Let's fight about something else, right? Or leverage something else.
Sure.
But it feels like it's one of those things that it's never going to solve as long as we have the wrong people controlling it.
Sure. And, not to belabor the water issue because it's been belabored enough, but, the water treaty, I believe, that's in place now is from 1944.
Right.
So I'm not sure what, plans there are to rehash that water treaty, but surprisingly enough, I've heard feedback from growers in Mexico, from the northern region of Mexico, that they're affected equally by the water deficit to the lower Rio Grande Valley because they're supplied by that
It's all the same thing. Yeah.
So that I just learned that kind of recently, and I was really surprised to hear that because I thought it was just kind of an all-inclusive Mexico or an all-inclusive U.S.
Yeah.
And even aside from which is secondary by far to feeding people, but from a reservoirs, lakes, recreation, all that stuff. I mean, my family's from Del Rio. Lake Amistad is one of the major reservoirs, if not the major reservoir next to Falcon. If you drive by there, it looks like you're on the moon. I mean, there's no water in that reservoir. So we're not even talking about what's most important, which is irrigation water and availability, but also, a big ding in that economy because that small town that means a lot to me is, primarily what the reservoir there and the recreation area and the state land is basically what people go there for. Yeah. So they've taken a huge hit.
No, and I mean, we have something similar in San Antonio with Canyon Lake, right? I mean, Canyon Lake was almost to nothing. Like you could walk out there, a mile where before it was boat docks, right? And it's crazy. And then unfortunately we had that horrible rain in July, which helped that. But I mean, it was such a tragic thing, right? And again, weather conditions and stuff. But we're still, I mean, to this day in San Antonio, we are still in a drought. We still are in drought conditions. We can't water our yards, all those things. And so it's like the why of it just sometimes escapes me. I'm like, well, we got all that rain, but it wasn't enough. Even though it was tragic and
too fast, too hard.
And too fast, too hard. But it's like how do we figure out how to stop that tragedy, but B also if that comes in, how do we capture the water? How do we say if it happens and we have flood and we know it's coming, how do we set something up so we can grab that water and store it or get it into the reservoirs or whatever so that we can use it later and take that take a bad thing and sort of make it into something good.
Well, that's something that AI, speaking of
I
the
know,
panels,
right?
that predictability.
Create the AI model for that, right?
That's definitely what we need help for.
Yeah.
Well, Kristi, good luck getting home first and foremost.
Thank you. Good luck to you as well.
Well, thank you.
You already offered me a ride, so I think we're good.
Well, hey, if it comes down to that, we're hitting the road.
We're hitting the road.
And we might could video it the whole way.
Yeah, we should take the show on the road. Yeah, there we go. A little, not Thelma and Louise, because that didn't end right, but it could be like that, kind of.
Without the horrific ending. Let's put it that way. All right. Thanks again for your time.
No problem.
Always great to see you, especially out on the road and at events and back home in Texas. Swipe Produce Expo 2026. Signing off. See you soon.